Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes SenseTime Mulls raising fund for auto, healthcare units, sources say. China's AI chipmaker Biren wins $280 million in funding pledge after U.S. sanction. Reclusive Shine founder Sky Su prepares to enter the spotlight with IPO. Tech latest, is it games over for ByteDance? NASA urges researchers to reach out for China moon samples, sidestepping U.S. ban. SenseTime Mulls raising fund for auto, healthcare units, sources say. Bloomberg. Chinese AI company SenseTime Group is reportedly considering separating its autonomous driving and healthcare units for separate fundraising. The Hong Kong-listed firm is said to have approached potential investors for funding plans and is looking to sell partial stakes in the units to other companies in the industry, followed by financial investors at a later stage. SenseTime has not made final decisions regarding valuation targets for the units and may decide against pursuing any deals. The company's growth has been hampered by U.S. sanctions and restrictions on access to capital and U.S. tech components. China's AI chipmaker Biren wins $280 million in funding pledge after U.S. sanction. Bloomberg. Shanghai Biren Intelligent Technology, a Chinese artificial intelligence (AI) chip firm that was blacklisted by the U.S. in October, has secured a pledge of 2 billion Chinese yuan, $280 million, from Guangzhou government-backed investors. The company is also in talks with officials in Hong Kong for additional funding and is considering establishing operations in the territory. Biren's success in raising funds comes as major Chinese tech firms seek domestic alternatives to NVIDIA's AI chips amid growing U.S. curbs on China's access to cutting-edge semiconductors. Another Chinese AI chip startup, More Threads Intelligent Technology Beijing, also raised hundreds of millions of yuan from a Series B+ financing round. Reclusive Shine founder Sky Su prepares to enter the spotlight with IPO. Financial Times. Chinese fast fashion company Shine is set to launch its planned IPO next year, and its secretive billionaire founder, Sky Su, will be thrust into the spotlight. Su is an intensely private individual who has never given a media interview, posted online, or appeared in a photograph on the company's website. Employees reportedly joke that they do not recognize him in the office. Su changed his English name from Chris to Sky in recent years, causing confusion among staff and investors. The strategy of remaining silent has been vindicated by the recent scrutiny of Chinese tycoons from Beijing and Washington. Shine's revenue has soared in recent years, reaching $22.7 billion in 2022, surpassing Zara, and generating $14.7 billion in revenue in H1 2022. The company has filed confidential paperwork with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, and its IPO is expected to be one of the biggest U.S. listings of the past decade. Tech latest, is it games over for ByteDance? Nikkei Asia. In this episode of Tech Latest by Nikkei Asia, Alice French interviews Sissy Zhou, a correspondent in Hong Kong, about ByteDance's recent layoffs and their impact on the gaming industry in China and beyond. The podcast discusses the reasons behind the layoffs, the effects on the gaming industry, and the potential implications for ByteDance's future. Listeners are encouraged to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. NASA urges researchers to reach out for China moon samples, sidestepping U.S. ban. South China Morning Post. NASA has been given permission to study China's moon samples, marking the first collaboration between the two countries' space agencies. Although U.S. law has previously prevented NASA from working with the China National Space Administration, CNSA, an internal email from NASA on Wednesday stated that it had certified its intent to Congress to allow NASA-funded researchers to apply to the CNSA for access to the lunar samples collected by China's Chang'e 5 mission in 2020. The law prohibiting cooperation between the two space agencies, known as the Wolf Amendment, was passed by the U.S. Congress in 2011. However, the email clarified that the green light for applications was an exceptional case, and the normal prohibition on bilateral activity with China on NASA-funded projects remained in place. The Chinese samples are from a lunar region that has not yet been sampled by NASA, and are expected to provide valuable insights into the geological history of the Moon and the Earth-Moon system, as well as helping NASA plan future lunar exploration. Why markets had a stellar November. Financial Times. The U.S. is aiming to cut Russia's oil and gas revenues by 50% by 2030, according to a senior U.S. official. This is part of a broader effort to reduce Russia's influence in global energy markets and weaken its economy. Meanwhile, investors are increasingly using artificial intelligence, AI, to analyze executive statements on earnings calls. By using natural language processing and sentiment analysis, AI can help investors to glean insights and signals behind the words of executives. Finally, investors are betting on a repeat of the market trends seen in 2020 for the year 2024. Cisco exec sees India digitally leapfrogging rest of world. Nikkei Asia. Cisco Systems believes that developing economies in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly India and Indonesia, have the potential to leapfrog the rest of the world as they accelerate their digital adoption. Dave West, the president of Cisco's Asia-Pacific, Japan and Greater China operations, highlighted the rapid digitization agenda in India, including the widespread use of digital payment apps and the country's software development expertise. West also noted that Indonesia is rapidly growing in terms of digital adoption. Cisco is investing in these developing markets as they harness their digital capabilities. West also discussed the evolving business climate in China, mentioning regulatory compliance and privacy laws. He highlighted the potential for generative AI in the region, expecting companies to cross the chasm and develop large language models. How ChatGPT, released a year ago, changed the way we interact with AI. South China Morning Post. OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot, released in November 2020, has been credited with sparking public interest in artificial intelligence, AI, and creating a new era of AI anxiety. ChatGPT allows users to generate written responses to prompts and quickly became popular, with 100 million people using it each week. However, concerns have been raised about the potential for the AI to spread misinformation, perpetuate biases and threaten jobs. Despite these concerns, investment in AI has soared, with startups and tech giants alike investing billions in the technology. Dear viewers, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension, here to bring you the latest news from around the world. Today, we have a mix of stories from the tech and business sectors, so let's dive right in. Chinese AI company SenseTime Group is reportedly considering separating its autonomous driving and healthcare units for separate fundraising. This move comes as the company seeks to raise funds amidst US sanctions and restrictions. It will be interesting to see how this decision plays out and what it means for SenseTime's future growth. In other news, Shanghai Biren Intelligent Technology, a Chinese AI chip firm that was blacklisted by the US, has secured a pledge of $280 million in funding from Guangzhou government-backed investors. This is a significant development as major Chinese tech firms seek domestic alternatives to NVIDIA's AI chips amidst growing US curbs. It seems like Chinese companies are finding ways to overcome the challenges posed by the US restrictions. Next, we have the story of Shine, the Chinese fast fashion company, and its secretive founder, Sky Su. Su, who has never given a media interview or appeared in a photograph on the company's website, is preparing to enter the spotlight with Shine's planned IPO. It's quite a unique situation, and it will be fascinating to see how Su handles the attention after years of remaining silent. Moving on to ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, recent layoffs have raised questions about the company's future and its impact on the gaming industry. In a podcast, Sissy Zhou, a correspondent in Hong Kong, discusses the reasons behind the layoffs and the potential implications for ByteDance. It's always interesting to hear different perspectives on the tech industry, so I encourage you to give it a listen. In a surprising development, NASA has been given permission to study China's moon samples, marking the first collaboration between the two countries' space agencies. This comes despite previous US laws prohibiting cooperation with China's space agency. The samples are expected to provide valuable insights into the moon and future lunar exploration. It's a significant step forward in international collaboration in space exploration. Now, let's talk about the markets. November was a stellar month, with the US aiming to cut Russia's oil and gas revenues by 50% by 2030. Investors are also increasingly using artificial intelligence to analyze executive statements on earnings calls, providing insights into their intentions and the market's future. Additionally, investors are betting on a repeat of the market trends seen in 2020 for the year 2024. It's always fascinating to see how investors try to predict the future based on past patterns. Cisco Systems believes that developing economies in the Asia-Pacific region, particularly India and Indonesia, have the potential to leapfrog the rest of the world in terms of digital adoption. It's exciting to see these countries harness their digital capabilities and accelerate their growth. However, challenges such as regulatory compliance and privacy laws must be navigated. The future of technology in these regions looks promising. Lastly, OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbot, released a year ago, has changed the way we interact with AI. While it has sparked public interest and investment in AI, concerns have been raised about its potential negative impact. Nonetheless, AI investment continues to soar, with companies investing billions in the technology. It's a sign of the growing importance and potential of AI in our lives. That wraps up today's news. Now, I turn to you, my dear viewers. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions or insights to share? I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Let's keep the discussion going. Remember, the world is constantly evolving, and it's up to us to stay informed and adapt. Until next time, this is Dr. Six signing off. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the wonders of the sixth dimension. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.